You say get comfortable with losing, and you started talking about that a little bit and saying, hey, look, I failed over here, or I'm not doing this great over here. And I think getting comfortable with losing is a really an amazing mental feat, because most people never get comfortable with it, and they have this victim mentality, and that's what brings them down. Tell me what you have noticed has helped you with getting comfortable with it.
It does take time to get to the point where you are okay knowing that you are going to lose, and that, winning may not come immediately. I think kind of early on recruiting, or even in my 9 to 5, mistakes are going to happen. People are not going to choose you. There are going to be parts of your business that may fail. You've got to walk into it in the beginning knowing that it's not going to be perfect, and that you're okay if you do fail, right? I'm comfortable with knowing that this is going to likely happen, and that I'm going to continue to go forward. Every winner that you see, or people that are successful, there is a hiccup along the way. But I think for me, it's the mindset of knowing the hiccups will come. And it's not like an anxiety of, oh, I know something bad's coming. It's more of a preparation. Life isn't perfect. Hiccups are going to happen along the road. I'm going to lose, quote unquote. And so preparing myself, it's going to happen, and I'm going to keep it rolling.
How do you prepare those athletes that you're helping? Because the ultimate, I'm assuming this because I'm not in your world, but
Sure.
the ultimate loss for them would be if they get injured and it's a permanent injury, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
How do you prepare them for that, both physically and financially? What are you doing?
When it comes to athletes, I'm always making sure that my guys have something off the field, and they have a plan when the game is over. I want to make sure that their transition out of the league is seamless. And so I start those conversations very early on. That way, God forbid, a season ending or career ending injury happens, or they're cut, or, something else happens where they can't play. We're not last minute trying to find a plan B. Find something that they love to do, find something that aligns with their purpose. We start those conversations when they're at the top, right? When they are at the very top of the mountain, when they are excited about what they're doing, when they're being very successful, we talk plan B then. It's a lot harder to talk plan B when plan A has already failed, right? And so it's got to be.
That's a great quote, Nicole. I love that.
I should have put that in the book.
It's okay. We recorded it. I'll send it to you. That's really good.
Pretty good.
I love that.
Pretty good. But it's the truth. It's the truth. It's when you're at your lowest point because your plan has already failed. That's not the time to figure out what we're doing next. Let's get it in place in advance.
I love that. All right, what's the biggest challenge that you find most sports athletes face? Is it, I would assume it's not so much physical. I would assume it's more mental, but are there any specifics that you could think of? Hey, this is a big challenge for most people.
Walking away from the game when it's time. I mean, that is the most difficult challenge for every athlete, or at least most athletes. There is always a time to hang up the cleats, whether it's by choice or whether you are forced to do so because you are cut or injured or something else. No matter what, it is such a difficult moment, such a difficult decision. And there is a mourning period after it is done, right? And I'm prepared for that. I prepare my athletes for it, but there's only so much you can really tell. It's almost like having a death, right? You can know that death is coming. We will lose people in life, but until you're in that moment, it's hard to really understand. And so for my guys, I mean, yeah, it's almost like they have to mourn the game, and that is tough.
Wow. Does anybody bring up Tom Brady and be like, I want to play until I'm 50?
I mean, everybody wants to play that long, but unfortunately, the average NFL player only plays 3.3 years.
No way.
It's a very short career. It's not like the NBA where you're seeing guys 35 plus. I mean, the Tom Brady's are 5% of the league. So 3.3 years is the average player. Yeah. And so it's, I call the NFL not for long. And so we're immediately having to come up. What's plan B? Where are we going from here? And let's start preparing our mental for when it's over, because it's over before you realize it.
Wow. I didn't know that. 3.3 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. So that makes sense, that challenge that they come in with.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So I would assume some sports figures come in and they may feel that, wow, I'm not good enough to play at this level. But I'm assuming not most of them, but some of them do. How do you deal with that? Because you bring up the imposter syndrome, right? And I'm assuming some of these people are feeling like, well, I can never be as great at this, but I'm good enough to be here. Do you deal with that or not as much?
I actually think it's the reverse. You know, it's the harder conversation of maybe your skill set is not NFL ready.
Ah,
You know, there are hard conversations I have to have with college players that say, hey, you know, I think you're a phenomenal college player. The NFL doesn't see that it may translate to the league. And that's not a decision I make as an agent. The NFL
mm-hmm.
decides who's NFL ready and who's going to be a star. They have scouts and general managers that make that decision, not me. I'm just the messenger. But those conversations are really tough. So I see less of the imposter syndrome. And I don't know what the opposite of the imposter syndrome is, but that it's more of
ego.
that. It's more of
yeah.
And it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's ego. I mean, these are people with dreams, and I get it, right?